Welcome back to Daybreak on Trust TV. Now it's time for us to look at our second topic for the day, and it has to do with the economy. Now, the inflation rate in Nigeria rose for the 8th straight month to 20.77% in September. And the MBS attributed the likely cause of the rise to disruption in the supply of food products, increase in import costs due to the persistent currency depreciation, and a general increase in the cost of production. Now, on a year-on-year basis, in September 2022, the headline inflation rate of 20.77% was 4.14% points higher compared to the rate recorded in September 2021, which was 16.63%. Now, let's try to make sense of this, and we have joining us via Skype, financial analyst and CEO, Ashir Dynamic Solution, Mukhtar Mohammed. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak.
Good morning. How are you doing? Good morning.
It's nice to have you again.
Always a pleasure to be on your program.
All right. So inflation is still on the upward trajectory, which is a negative for us. Is there any end in sight to this rise in inflation, going by the current state of things?
Definitely no any hope yet. It's a global trend. Every economy in the world is battling inflation at the moment. There's no end in sight yet, especially with our a three-dimensional situation, which has really not helped us. One, cost inflation, currency depreciation, production inflation, macroeconomic inflation. So when you look at all these issues, you are not seeing any immediate solution to it, even in the short term. So definitely, inflation has become a global language now. Just this morning, the UK economy inflation went up by 10.1%. So it's becoming normal for us to talk about inflation. But it's what are we going to do to cut the trend, just like other developed economies are doing or developing economies are doing. And basically, you need to have what we've seen in Nigeria is that the monetary side has always done their best, but the fiscal side seems to be non-existent.
So talking about physical sides, what are those elements that we are perhaps not paying attention to?
We're not paying attention to taxes. We are not looking at taxes as means to grow our economy. The physical side is not looking at our projects, and most of those key projects, infrastructural projects, to grow the economy and create jobs for Nigerians. How do you do that? It's using those projects as a collateral to begin to see how companies can come in, foreign companies move through foreign direct investment. That will now beef up our reserve, because they are not only coming with naira, they'll be coming in with dollars. So they are not looking at that. The fiscal side, what the fiscal side is just saying is building infrastructure by borrowing, and more of this borrowing is causing more liquidity into the system and it's hyping inflation. So definitely the fiscal side seems to be doing something different from the monetary side. And I see the monetary side are always trying to mop up inflation, mop up currency, mop up and whatever they think is in the system. So I think if the synergy come, then the physical side, if they begin to look at how to get more Nigerians out of the poverty level, either through direct intervention in area of key needs of Nigeria, average Nigerians, then definitely that also could help bring down inflation.
Well, you talked about using taxes as a way of getting revenue, of generating revenue. But the thing is, we're in the middle of an economic crunch, and if as you jerk up taxes, aren't you making it difficult for the same people that you are supposed to try to help? Because whether you talk about individual or corporate taxes, it's still the same thing. As an individual, I am looking for this. We are all looking for this money that we don't have. And you're asking me to pay more when it comes to taxes. If it is corporate taxes, I'm trying to grow a business. I'm feeling the crunch right now. It's difficult for me to survive. And you're asking me to pay more taxes. How does that relate?
It was that we should think of ways of using taxes to grow the economy. explanation. What I mean by that is instead of taxing our people the more, we should begin to think of how we can grow the economy by using taxes as a means whereby we give companies tax holidays, and these companies are able to employ more Nigerians and bring them out of the poverty level. That's what I mean. I don't mean increment in terms of taxes. What I mean by use taxes to grow your economy is that you attract more companies into your economy by giving them tax holiday, and then by that you give them projects like what we see some companies are doing in Dangote, with that from their papa as it's even up. We see that happen. MTN is planning to do that in the east also. That is the Owerri Onitsha axis road. So definitely that's what I'm saying. We give them tax holiday for them to come in and begin to bring a lot of activity. It's only a government, but if you're a government and your revenue is taxes, it's always a difficult thing to do, like what is happening to the British economy, because the British, their greatest revenue is from taxes. So if they bring down tax, it will hamper their revenue, and that's why you see their economy is somehow in a crisis. But ours, we've not even gotten to any area in terms of taxes. We are widening the tax back. Definitely this administration have earned more tax than any other administration. But the challenge is that, like you said, you are taxing more. You are not even widening the tax bracket that much. Rather, you are going after companies and you are telling them what to pay as tax, not really what they are even making. So definitely that's the difference.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, there's quite a lot of factors that are fueling this issue of inflation, like you earlier mentioned. This is a global trend. A lot of forces that are outside the control of governments and states is, contributing to this. We talk about the Russia-Ukraine war. We talk about climate change. We talk about energy crisis and all of that. Disruption in this food supply chain, and all these are factors, contributing to this. So when you look at another thing added to the list now, which is another dimension to the issue of climate change, which is floods here in Nigeria. Thousands of farmlands have been submerged and all of that. What's your projection as we move into the coming year, and especially with campaigns setting in?
You know that as campaigns have started, and you journalists know that governors are taking the back seat. That's why we are not seeing the kind of response. Even though
the president is calling on his lieutenants not to focus on campaigns, but pay attention to governance, despite the season.
They are not. You just need to go to the Ministry of Labor. The Minister of Labor for State is the spokesman for the APC presidential campaign. You can see that all the governors are following the presidential candidate up about. So let's not go into that. No matter what they are trying to say, the president himself knows. Have not taken the back seat, would have seen a proactive response to the kind of flooding that we have experienced. We've never experienced it in Nigeria. That is even affecting some places that are cash cow of the nation. It's even have not risen up to their responsibility. Where you won't blame the federal government alone. So even the state government, if you look at Delta State, the Delta State governor is busy campaigning, is the vice presidential aspirant of the PDP, so he's busy campaigning. So it's not even in his state, and that's one state that has been worst hit by flood also. You look at Kogi State, instead of the governor to face the issues that are having there, he's busy fighting Dangote, and his people are out there. So definitely that governors have taken the back seat. Going forward, what are we going to expect? We're going to see the inflation figures go higher, especially we saw a marginal decline in terms of price of food because of the little result we've gotten in the area of security. We realized that the government were tackling that area. Looking Zamfara became peaceful. We're not getting so much news about the kidnapping or farmers not able to go to farm any longer. But just before recently, the governor, whether it's a political move, came tell us that, look, because of banditry also, they are trying to stop campaigns. So those also, that if you put that into consideration, you definitely know that the price index will definitely go up. Okay. Flooding has become a major issue.
All right,
definitely going forward, we expect that to happen.
Okay, sorry to interject, but with the recent, should I call it onslaught now on the on oil thieves in the Niger Delta that we're seeing. The government seemed determined to deal with the issue of oil thefts, and that way we'll be able to boost our production. Do you think that will perhaps help the issue of the devaluation of the naira, for instance?
It will help in a little way. Maybe it will help in boosting our reserve with some billions, maybe 1 to 2 billion. That could help our reserve get to the 40 billion mark that we've always consistently maintained. But again, in the long run, the problem is not even, yes, production is a problem, but you know that the major challenges that we are facing, that we have not been able to get revenue into our reserve, is because of the subsidy. Subsidy is a main challenge, and government is not ready to take the bull by the horn. So even if you increase the oil output, which I believe we will be able to do that with a kind of new Tom Polo discovering about 38 points of thief. This morning, they say they've discovered more. Even this morning, Seplat, also an energy, crude oil, an energy company, say it has reduction about 24% in their production because of oil thief. So you can see that it's not only affecting government revenue, it's beginning to have a flow into the private companies also. Okay. So definitely, we will see those numbers increase in terms of revenue with the result we are having. But okay, again, what we gain in terms of production, we lose in terms of payment of fuel subsidy.
All right, so by way of rounding up, just in 1 minute, if you may, should we be comforted looking at the inflation rates in other climes in the African continent? For instance, you have a Zimbabwe that is recording 280% inflation rate. You have Ghana 37% and all that. So looking at ours and all that, it appears that we are managing well. Do you think so?
You look at our resources. I can't but agree that we are managing well, but we shouldn't compare ourselves with Zimbabwe and Ghana, especially because Zimbabwe has been in this crisis for years and years during the time of Robert Mugabe up to this moment. They've not been able to remember the exchange rate of the dollar. There's about almost a currency to a dollar. So we should be looking at South Africa as our trademark. We are the two biggest economy. We should be competing within ourselves, we and South Africa. I think that should be our benchmark. For Ghana, Ghana is suffering that because of the depreciation of their currency. Their currency is one of the worst performing currency in the world at the moment. So when you look at that, yes, you say we are doing well, but I still believe that if the physical side is able to come together with the monetary policy sides, we'll get a better result going forward.
All right, thank you so much. Mukhtar Mohammed, CEO, Ashia Dynamic Solution. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak and sharing your perspectives. I appreciate it. All right, that's our show for today. In case you've missed, you can always catch up across all our social media platforms. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch us live 247. My name is Ayuba Ilya.
And I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Let's do it all again tomorrow. Have a lovely day.